An army of 100,000 men stretches across the Spanish mountains. The rear guard is ambushed. Horns scream, thousands die in minutes. And in the middle of the carnage stands one coal-black horse, refusing to leave his fallen rider. He takes arrow after arrow. Sword slashes open his chest. Still he fights. Still he guards the body of the greatest warrior in Europe. His name was Tencendur. He belonged to Charlemagne, the man who forged an empire bigger than Rome. In the year 777, a caravan arrives at the palace of Aachen. Dust-covered riders from Baghdad, envoys of the Caliph Harun al-Rashid. Among the gifts, silks, an elephant, a water clock that amazes the Franks, and one 4-year-old stallion, black as midnight, with a white star shaped like a crescent moon. The Franks had never seen a horse like this. 17 hands high, neck arched like a warbow, tail carried like a banner, Arabian blood but bigger, probably crossed with the fabled Nisaean strain that once carried Persian kings. The envoys bow and say, "This is Tencendur, he who flies without wings, a gift for the king of the Franks." Charlemagne, already in his mid-30s, crowned Holy Roman Emperor in just 23 years, walks into the stable himself. The horse looks him dead in the eye and nickers, one soft, low sound that every horseman knows means recognition. From that moment, they belong to each other. Charlemagne orders the finest grooms in the empire to care for him. He is fed barley and honey, blanketed in purple dyed with Tyrian mollusks, color reserved for emperors. And every morning before the sun rises, the emperor himself rides Tencendur bareback along the frozen river just to feel the horse breathe beneath him. Tencendur was not born gentle. He had fire. Grooms told stories of him leaping the palace moat when only 5, a 20-foot jump. Charlemagne loved that fire. He trained the stallion the old Frankish way. Long rides in full armor, swimming rivers in nail, standing calm while war horns screamed inches from his ear. By age 7, Tencendur could do things other horses simply could not do. He could spin on his hocks so fast that a lance aimed at Charlemagne's back would hit empty air. He learned to rear and strike with both front hooves, a killing blow that crushed Saracen helmets like eggshells. And most terrifying of all, he learned to charge straight into spear points without flinching, trusting his rider to turn him at the last second. The emperor's sword was called Joyesse. The emperor's horse became just as famous, Tencendur, the Black Thunderbolt. Charlemagne has spent 7 years trying to conquer Muslim Spain. It fails. He retreats north with the largest army Europe has seen since Rome, 100,000 plus men, tons of captured gold, thousands of camp followers. The column stretches for miles through the Pyrenees. Charlemagne rides near the front on Tencendur. The rear guard, commanded by his nephew Roland, his best friend Oliver, and the 12 legendary paladins, lags behind in the narrow pass of Roncesvalles. Then the Basques attack. Not Saracens, Christian Basques, furious at Frankish taxes. They know the terrain. They roll boulders from the cliffs. They loose arrows from cover. In 2 hours, the rear guard is annihilated. Roland blows his horn Oliphant until his lungs burst, trying to call Charlemagne back. But the wind carries the sound the wrong way. Charlemagne hears nothing. When the emperor finally turns the army around and fights his way back to Roncesvalles, it is dusk. The pass is a charnel house, 20,000 Frankish dead. Charlemagne rides Tencendur through the carnage, searching for Roland. He finds him at the foot of a pine tree, sword broken, face to the sky. And there, still standing over Roland's body, is a horse no one can believe is alive. Black hide now gray with dried blood. 7 arrows in his chest and neck, a sword slash from withers to elbow, deep enough to see bone. One eye swollen shut. Yet Tencendur still plants his legs wide, ears pinned, teeth bared at anyone who comes near Roland. The Emperor dismounts. He walks forward slowly, hands open. Tencendur's head jerks up. Recognition. The stallion lowers his head and rests his blood-soaked forehead against Charlemagne's chest, the only time any chronicler ever records him doing that to any human except Roland. Charlemagne weeps openly. He orders the finest surgeons in the army, men who normally treat only noblemen, to save the horse at all costs. They work through the night by torchlight. Arrows cut out, wounds packed with honey and spiderweb. Hot iron to cauterize the deepest gashes. Tencendur never lies down. He stands, swaying, refusing to fall as long as Charlemagne stays beside him. The journey back to Aachen takes months. Tencendur is led in a horse litter slung between 2 mules. The emperor will not let him walk. Every night, Charlemagne checks the bandages himself. He talks to the horse the way old soldiers talk to each other. Low, private, full of memories. Miraculously, the stallion lives. The scars heal white against black hide, lightning bolts across his chest. Veterans start calling him the horse with 9 lives. When they finally reach Aachen, the entire city turns out. They expect to see a broken wreck. Instead, Tencendur walks through the gates under his own power, head high, scars gleaming like silver in the sun. The crowd falls silent, then roars. Charlemagne orders a life-size bronze statue of Tencendur cast for the palace courtyard. It stands there to this day. You can still visit the replica in the Aachen Catholic treasury. Tencendur serves Charlemagne for 12 more years. He carries the emperor into his final battles against the Avars and the Danes. Old grooms say that whenever the war horn sounded, the scars on his chest seemed to burn red again, as if the old fire woke up. In 813 AD, Charlemagne, now 71, feels death coming. One cold January morning, he has Tencendur brought to the palace chapel. He leans against the stallion's neck one last time and whispers something no chronicler recorded. 3 days later, on January 28, 814, Charlemagne dies. Tencendur is 38 years old, ancient for a horse, especially a war horse. The new emperor, Louis the Pious, orders that Tencendur be retired with honor. He lives one more spring in the royal meadows, grazing under the same apple trees he knew as a colt. In May, the grooms find him lying beneath the blossoming branches, head resting on his forelegs as if asleep. No struggle, no wounds, just done. They bury him with full military honors beside the palace chapel, the only horse in European history ever granted that privilege. His bronze statue is placed over the grave, and for centuries afterward, knights on crusades swore that on moonless nights they saw a huge black stallion with white lightning scars galloping across the sky ahead of the army, leading the way, still carrying the soul of an emperor. That was Tencendur. Not a myth. A real horse who lived, loved, fought, and refused to die when everything said he should. And somewhere tonight, I swear, if you stand in a quiet field and listen, you might just hear hoofbeats in the wind. Thank you for riding with me. If this story moved you, do 3 things for an old war horse. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. And in the comments, tell me the name of the horse who owns your heart. Until the next time, keep the history of horses alive.